What's going on, guys? Jacoby Kendrick here, the BJJ Realtor. Just wanted to do a little reaction to UFC 257. So UFC 257 just ended last night. Only going to talk about the last two fights, Chandler and Hooker, Porrier and McGregor. First of all, which I thought it was really exciting event. They actually had a crowd there, so it was really the anticipation, just getting ready for the event, watching everything go down. Really started to feel like things are really getting back to normal. So I thought that was really exciting, and it was really a good event to watch. And so just want to talk about it, what I was looking at, what I saw, and just kind of my thoughts on things. And so everything leading up to the event, Conor McGregor, he is, one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. If you love him or hate him, you have to admit he makes the sport exciting. And so this event, I was really looking forward to it with all the anticipation coming up. He's been off for a while. And then also just to see how Porrier was going to respond to things and how he was going to come out. And so a lot of drama going around. I ordered the fight earlier in the day. I didn't know if I was going to order it or not. I ended up ordering it. And then once the prelims were over, I was having trouble getting on the stream. I usually stream it to my TV. I cast it from my laptop to my TV, and I couldn't get it to work. And so I'm always texting with buddies and all that, and we're just going back and forth. One of my buddies, he had no problems at all. And then I had two other friends who, they couldn't even order it, and they couldn't cast it. They couldn't do anything. And for myself, I could watch it on my cell phone, but I actually watched the prelims on my TV, but I couldn't watch the main card. I could only watch that on my cell phone. So I watched it on my cell phone. So that was drama in itself, right? Dana White trying to crack down on illegal streams, and he ends up actually cutting out people who actually legitimately paid for the event. So I'm interested to see the fallout from all that. Sometimes you just got to let things go, I think. And so I think he's trying to, crack down on the illegal streams, but, just ended up probably costing his company and a lot of the fighters cash, because when Conor is in an event, there's going to be pay-per-view buys, and so that's a lot of where those guys get a lot of their money from. So I'm interested to see what happens with that. Now moving on to Chandler and Hooker. I mean, Chandler was his first fight in the UFC. That guy, man, he's just explosive, and he is a phenomenal athlete, right? So what I'm always looking for now whenever I watch UFC, since now obviously I'm in the jiu-jitsu game, is I'm looking to see how the jiu-jitsu is going to come into the fight, right? And I also like the stories leading up to the fights, but there wasn't a lot of jiu-jitsu in that match there. But the one thing that I did see, though, that I took a mental note of, is Chandler was just pressuring Hooker so much, and Hooker's he's a big guy. He's like 6 feet tall, and Chandler is 5'8". And so Hooker had the reach advantage. And so, the way he was pressuring him, and he's just so explosive, I don't think Hooker could. I think it just caught him off guard, whenever Chandler came out on him. Chandler's good. He's trained with the best, right? I don't know much about him. I didn't know much about him coming in. I just know he was a backup for the Gaethje-Khabib fight. So he was actually already prepared for this fight. So whenever Khabib and Gaethje fought, he went through all the same tests. He went through quarantine. He did everything as though he was going to be fighting in case one of those guys had to back out. So he actually already had a test run in the UFC. He already had a test run going to Abu Dhabi. So he was already ready. And then he trains with, Usman, American Top Team. Who else? Gilbert Burns. So he is at a high level. I was watching the videos of them training, and he was hanging in and oftentimes getting the best of Gilbert Burns and and Usman. And so those guys are top tier, top level guys. And so I was interested to see what was going to happen when he went against Hooker. And obviously we saw what happened. He ends up knocking him out. And what I thought was even more impressive was like that backflip after he won the fight, right? He freaking stands on top of the cage, does a super backflip. And I was just thinking, man, I hope this guy doesn't hurt himself, you know, coming down from that. So that was really what I saw. I thought was pretty crazy. The way he was cutting off the ring, the way he, sounds good, bud. The way he was cutting off the ring, the way he was just pressuring him, you know, wedging him in, putting him into the positions that he wanted to put him into, and then he finally struck and took him down. So that was what I took away from that fight. And then the Porrier-McGregor fight, man, I really thought McGregor was going to win this one. I'm a McGregor fan. Some of the stuff he does I agree with, some of the stuff I don't agree with, but I like his mindset, and I like how he's gone from nothing to something, which Porrier, he has the exact same story as well, right? He's been in the game for a long, long time, but just McGregor has the flashiness where he's brought notoriety to himself, and just seeing the way he's taking care of his family and coming up through that, I think is really, really cool. And so watching the fight and seeing the way they came out, you know, there was one thing that changed the game. You know, when Porrier came out, he had that takedown initially that I don't think Conor was ready for, but Conor just stood up. I mean, he stood up from there in the very beginning. And so I think, you know, his just being able to come up from that, and he was really patient whenever he got up. He didn't, you know, exert a lot of energy once he got taken down. But I thought that was a key point in the fight, because I don't think McGregor was looking for that. I don't think he was ready for it. Even though it wasn't like a big deal, like McGregor just got back up, I think it showed where Porrier was coming from. And then obviously the game changer after that was the leg kicks, right? So McGregor just, styles make fights in MMA, and McGregor just, that leg kick was the game changer. And so by the second round, I mean, McGregor, he couldn't even walk. If that fight would have went on longer and longer, like, he basically would have been fighting on one leg. And so that leg kick was the game changer. So there wasn't much jiu-jitsu either in that match either, but except for I think the initial takedown, which I thought was crazy and key for Porrier, and then also just the leg kick. So I think Porrier has developed, and man, I'm a Porrier fan now. He's developed into a really good fighter, and you could see how he was looking to see where he needed to take that fight. Obviously, Conor's got the confidence. Conor was really, really good. They're both really, really good. But at that level, it's whoever makes the adjustments and has the better game plan who's going to win that fight, right? And so once that leg was gone, he couldn't do anything, you know? And he even said that after the fight, you know, the leg kicks were just too much. And then Poirier's just a beast with his hands. So once you start letting him tee off, that's it. So that's kind of my thing with the UFC from last night. It was awesome. Good to see the crowd there, which was really cool for me. Man, and the UFC's got some really, really good talent now, you know, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do moving forward into this next year. And yeah, what were your thoughts? What did you think about the fights that went on? And then what do you think's next coming up? All right, talk to you guys later. Oos.